Hello and welcome. I am Vix Chandra, Coordinator of the Network Security and Electronics Programs at EKU. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about the assessment process my colleagues and I in the networking program are using to improve our course offerings. This is an ongoing process. I'm glad to share this information with you and hope to learn from you in the future as well. When we talk about improving programs, we need to be mindful about how we go about doing this. One of my favorite teachers is legendary UCLA basketball coach Johnny Wooden, who said, although there can be no progress without change, not all change is progress. So we have to be very thoughtful about the changes that we intend to introduce in our curriculum, as this will have a lasting impact on our students. With this in mind, my talk will cover three important areas. First is the need for linking assessment of student learning at various institutional levels, and also keeping in mind the external forces that help us shape our program. These include our advisory committee, the accreditation, and alumni surveys. Second is managing the complexity of the assessment process itself. There is a need for having and creating updating program objectives and assessments so that student learning objectives can be evaluated properly. And finally, the most important one of all, the closing the loop. This is the feedback mechanism for continuously improving student learning. If we look at planning which occurs at various institutional levels, there is the university strategic plan, the college strategic plan, the department, and also the program. As a faculty member, we are somewhat in a bubble, and we feel isolated from what is happening at different institutional levels. And so when we plan our program goals and objectives, we need to be very mindful that these are in line with what the university, the college, and the department wants. If we are not mindful of this, and if we go off on our own, then if the alignment cannot be clearly seen from above, the chances of our program having continued funding is going to be limited. In addition to all of this, there are also these external forces which we need to consider, which are our advisory committee, the exit interviews of our graduating students, and alumni surveys. This information ripples back at various institutional levels and is reported. When we talk about the strategic direction of the program, we need to be mindful about the one most important thing being the students' core competencies. And these need to be discussed within the curriculum committees. We need to look at professional organizations and our sister institutions which teach similar programs. In addition to this, we need to look at our existing courses and the direction in which the program is headed. In other words, we need to scan the horizon and see the new technologies that are being introduced, and also try to bring those into the classroom. One of the inevitable things about this is that when we try to introduce new content, invariably we need to phase out some content, and this is a difficult decision. Finally, we need to have appropriate coursework and learning opportunities, both from the point of view of learning, the knowledge part, and also implementation, which is the lab part. We also need to be mindful for training our students to have the right attitude towards the work. So we need to address all three dimensions of learning. Our advisory committee is instrumental in helping us refine our course objectives, in helping us plan future directions, in prioritizing our content, and perhaps very important is that they help us in evaluating our students' capstone projects. Capstone projects which are done at the very last semester, the student is in the program, helps them define and refine what they have learned. It is a synthesis process. We also need their help in discussion about our exit exam performance, the graduating student interviews, and our alumni surveys. So all this information is discussed with them as well. The advisory committee helps us find opportunities for cooperative education and also field trips. If you have advisory committees, I would strongly recommend that you work with them to provide students with these opportunities, because they provide a dimension which is otherwise missing from the student's academic career. Alumni feedback also provides us useful information. This is sent 6 months, a year, 3 years, and so on out to all of our students. We get information about the jobs they are holding, the titles, the responsibilities. In addition to this, we also have information about what they would like us to introduce in our programs. When we can take that content and bring it into our programs, our students will be very well prepared for the future. This information is also shared with new students and also becomes part of our accreditation reports. As you can see, there is a lot of information which is coming in, and this paperwork can pile up. So there is also a need to cut down on paperwork, on the duplication, and on the resources, especially of time, that faculty members have so little of. There is inherent difficulty in maintaining separate documentation for accreditation, for institutional purposes, and for program improvement. If we could unify that into one, that would be very much in line with what all faculty members would like. There is also a need for streamlining information, preferably making most of it available online so that it can be easily disseminated. Okay, next we need to talk about matching student competencies with the course outcomes. This is the curriculum mapping. We specify the skills that are evaluated in the exit exam, and we take each core competency and we assess it in multiple ways. We specify when and how the results will be measured and how they will be used to identify areas of improvement. And the assessment needs to cover both a breadth of student knowledge and also mastery of the student competencies which the curriculum committee has decided on. If we look back to the previous strategic plan of the university, it consists of 5 different areas, but not all of these areas align directly with student learning outcomes, which we would like to focus on. So we need to focus on promoting learning, the intellectual curiosity, and the problem-solving skills of our students. In addition, if we look at the college strategic plan, this consists of 3 major portions, and the one which most closely relates to our students is about continuous improvements and involvement of the stakeholders, which are our students and accrediting bodies. Finally, if we look at the strategic plan of the department itself, it talks about preparing students for a wide range of careers at the baccalaureate, the associate, and the master's level. And the one which our networking program most closely identified with was the BS, the AAS degree, and quality instruction in general. With this in mind, the networking curriculum committee decided on 4 core competencies. The first one related to networking skills in a small office, home office environment. The second one related to computing skills. The third one was related to fundamentals of electricity and electronics. And finally, perhaps the most important one, since it spans not just our discipline, but also covers all of their classes at EKU, this relates to critical thinking, creativity, and the need for communicating the results to technical and non-technical audiences. With this, we need to create areas where the student competencies would actually be assessed, and this includes the exit exam and the capstone project. So the networking skills would be actually assessed in the exit exam, as would the computing skills and the fundamentals of electricity and electronics. The last one, relating to critical thinking, creativity, and communication, would be assessed through the capstone project, which the students complete, their demonstration video, the demonstration which they do in front of our advisory committee members and the faculty members, as well as also their portfolio. Now we can see that there is a linkage at all institutional levels, starting from the university all the way to program goals and leading to the department exit exam and to the capstone project. Our exit exam is completely online, and in order to familiarize the students with the nature of the exit exam, a Blackboard course has been created, and students answer questions. There are really 20 questions in each of the different areas of networking, computing systems, and electricity electronics, and the sample test also creates that information so that they are familiar with the testing environment. And this is shown here. The next is the capstone project and portfolio. I have created on my web page, my department web page, links to the capstone projects of all students going back several years. So it lists the student's name, their photograph, an abstract of their project, a title. In addition, it also includes information such as their resume and their permanent contact information. This information is open for evaluation by the university committee and also our advisory committee. The criteria for evaluation include the content, organization, delivery, audience connection, the visual aids they used, and the demonstration video which they show. All this information needs to be entered into TrackDat, and the information includes the learning objectives, the curriculum mapping, showing which courses exactly map to which objective, and sample assessment data. This is usually entered in the fall term, at the start of the fall term. The data from the 4 learning objectives, the student learning outcomes, is available through online, the hands-on portion, and the capstone information. The next few screens show both the reporting mechanism and some of the reports which are generated in TrackDat. As you can see, there are underlines and strike-throughs, which shows where new information is being added and old information is being removed. So it is quite okay to go back into TrackDat and make changes which you think are necessary. This reporting mechanism requires us to have 2 different measures for each objective. So one of the measures is always going to be our exit exam, which is online, and the second objective is going to be the hands-on performance exam, which is lab-based. On both of these, students need to score 70% or more in order to successfully complete it. This is held at the end of each semester, but the results are compiled at the end of each year. And the advisory committee looks at it, the curriculum committee looks at it, and then we decide on which exact courses require changes. A sample of the result is shown on the next screen. Here, at the end of each academic year, we go in and we enter information about the student performance in the result observation section. In the next section, use of results and observation, we talk about the specific changes that we are planning to introduce into our coursework so that they can have an effect on the next batch of students who are graduating. And the follow-up is usually one academic year behind, because we are going in and filling in information about what we have done last year and what changes have occurred since then. But I do like to write in some information if it is ongoing. The next two slides show this information for the computing skills and also for the electricity electronics area. The last objective relates to critical thinking, creative thinking, and communication. And this uses the student's project portfolio as well as the actual presentation. Students have done very well in this area, and their work has been commended by the advisory committee and also by the networking curriculum committee. Towards this end, we need to remember that one of EKU's main theme is that EKU will graduate informed, critical, and creative thinkers who can communicate effectively. The Quality Enhancement Program at EKU provides a wealth of information about different techniques which can be used in the classroom, and they can thus be used as measures of critical thinking, and that can be part of one of your learning objectives. This past summer, I worked on a website which includes 16 different techniques which can be used to improve the critical and creative thinking skills of students. And I would encourage you to look at either of these websites to get ideas about what you can do to bring critical and creative thinking in a broader way into your classrooms. One additional thing which we have been doing for the past several years is using the advising course in Blackboard, and we create an online discussion board in which all faculty members enter information about the courses which they have just taught. So this information includes the student performance, highlighting their strengths and the weaknesses, and in addition, the suggestions which each faculty member has to make about how student performance can be improved further. A sample from our programmable logic controller class, which is taught by a part-time faculty member, Jeremy Witt, is included below. This all information helps us close the feedback loop. It helps us provide specific ideas about what we can do in which classes so that our students' performance and also their knowledge and attitude about different areas of technology can be improved. In addition, we also address the critical and creative thinking aspect of their learning. A sample over here from spring 2009 shows, for example, in EET 251, which is our electricity and electronics course, that we need to introduce more AC/DC applications in our curriculum, and so on. This all helps us tremendously when it comes time for accreditation, because the section which deals with program assessment is the most difficult one to write. However, if we have all of our ducks in a row, then we can go in and easily make all this information available to external auditing teams. It usually requires us to mention how our program maps with the mission statement, the desired program outcomes and competencies, which can be directly now taken from the strategic plan, evidence that the program incorporates these outcomes and competencies, and this can be shown using the course or curriculum mapping. Next is that we are using these measures to evaluate student mastery, and we are indeed doing that using the exit exam and the capstone course as well. and the compilation of these results going back through the last accreditation cycle. And this is entered into TrackDat and made readily available to the visiting team. Finally, and most important, is evidence that the results are being used to improve the program. And indeed, we are doing that because we can cite specific examples of what we are doing in our classroom, which helps improve student learning. In conclusion, we can see that there is a need for aligning the strategic goals at various levels so that student learning can be improved all the way through. This needs to be done in consultation with advisory committees and also accreditation guidelines. There is a need for streamlining the assessment process, and also if we properly envision it and implement this, our assessment will result in improved course offerings. It will be responsive to all the changes which are happening out in the field so that they can be brought into the curriculum, and this will provide student proficiency in the discipline. In short, student success. This creates a win-win-win scenario for everyone involved. It provides an alignment of the strategic plans at all institutional levels. It provides us a mechanism for continuous improvement, which is validated by national accreditation. And it provides students with the core competencies, cooperative education opportunities, and employment, resulting in student success. I would like to acknowledge the contributions of my colleagues, Professor Jeff Kilgore, Ray Richardson, Danda Rawat, Steve Fardo, Dale Patrick, Jeremy Witt, Tom Pond, and Cheryl Cox in my program. The department chair, Dr. Tim Ross, and former chair, Dr. Ed Davis, as well as Dean Bob Rogow, and from the Office of Institutional Effectiveness, E.J. Keeley and Stacy Street. For more information, please feel welcome to contact me at the email address or the phone number given here. I will be happy to share all my materials with you at any time. Thank you.